Welcome back to Is It Still Good, the channel that watches older films and lets you know if they still hold up today. I'm excited because we're gonna watch a movie I've always liked. 1999's The Boondock Saints. And this one's rated R, runs 1 hour 48 minutes. IMDb gives it 7.7 out of 10. Do I agree? Stick around to the end of the video to find out. This is an interesting one, okay? This has been directed by Troy Duffy, who also wrote it. And it stars Willem Dafoe as Paul Smecker, the FBI agent, Sean Patrick Flannery as Connor McManus, and Norman Reedus as Murphy McManus. David Della Rocco stars as Rocco, and we have Billy Connolly as El Duce. Who else is in it that's noteworthy? Bob Marley is Detective Greenlee, and no, it's not the Bob Marley you're thinking about. It's an interesting movie, so I've always really liked this movie a lot. I remember when this came out, everybody went nuts for it. It was a lot of fun, but it did start the whole peacoat craze. I remember in upstate New York, everybody was wearing peacoats after this, and black turtlenecks were still in. I was 19 years old. So this run runs 1 hour, 48 minutes. Not a bad run time, not terribly long. And it's two Irish Catholic brothers become vigilantes and wipe out Boston's criminal underworld in the name of God. That's really the story. I watched it again last night for New Year's. This was like my New Year's watch. So that's when I'm recording this on 1/1/24, right? I don't know when it's going up, probably like a month later, but still. That's when I watched it, right? Over a few drinky poos, I figured, Boondock Saints, why not? So my date and I, we put on Boondock Saints and we got into it. So we started watching the movie and we're having a good time, and the first half hour was great. I really love how it unfolds. It's really interesting. So basically, these two Irish brothers get sucked into this role of killing evil men. They're very pious, they're very religious, and in the very beginning of the film, there's a priest giving a speech, and he said there are evil men, but there's an evil we must fear more than that.
We must all fear evil men. But there is another kind of evil which we must fear most.
And that is the indifference of good men. And since these guys are good men, they realize they can no longer be indifferent to evil, right? Somebody's got to deal with it. And later that night, they're celebrating in their favorite pub. These Russian mobsters come in that have bought out the building, and they want to shut it down about a week early. These guys tell them to chill out. A bar fight ensues, and they have some fun. They take it a little too far because they're drunk. You know, they set their butt on fire. There's some funny stuff there. But the Russian mobster guys locate the two Irish brothers in their flat and go to kill one of them. And the other one miraculously saves his brother. And both the Russian mob guys get killed, right? So you got to see how it's done. It's actually pretty cool. So this is an action crime thriller. And I've always loved this movie. If you would have asked me in the early aughts, would I give Boondock Saints? It was going to be a 9 out of 10 for sure. Something like that. You know, something high. IMDb says 7.7 out of 10. Well, okay. The best reason to watch this film by far is Willem Dafoe, who plays Agent Smecca. I absolutely love him. It's ingenious the way that they unfold the movie, very Memento-like, where you can see that something bad's going to happen, and then we flash forward to the cops arriving at the scene. The Boston detectives are kind of bumbling about
taking all the fun out of the job.
And they have some really wild theories as to what happened because it's so unbelievable what actually did happen. Only Agent Smecca, the FBI agent played by Willem Dafoe, is able to piece together what actually happened using real detective work, right? Agent Smecca is very accomplished. He's excellent at what he does. He outranks everybody on the scene. They have to put up with him. He has the best fashion sense. He's a really interesting guy. So shout out to my buddy and hairdresser, Gabriel, who recommended this film. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a number score. But first, I'm going to try to sell you guys a couple of my novels. Okay, hopefully you guys bought either Unkillable Joe or international bestselling author Joe Vallen by me, Joe Vallen. They're both really funny, dark comedies, Boondock Saints. What do I give it? Gabriel, I gotta apologize to you, but I would have given this like a 6.8 out of 10, you know, is where I was feeling. But Willem Dafoe alone kicks it up to a 7 out of 10 for me. That's my number score. There's a lot of cringeworthy moments in this. Is this corny or cool? That's probably going to be my title. Well, it's both. It's a little cheesy. It's a little corny. It is cool. I think Agent Smecca is the reason to watch it, actually. He steals every scene. He's hilarious, you know, and just a brilliant man. It's kind of interesting how it unfolds. There's some gray area and some weirdness, and do I agree, disagree? I don't really like the B-roll cutaways of people on the street debating whether or not the Boondock Saints are right or wrong, or any of that stuff. Billy Connolly comes in and kind of changes the nature of the film. Rocco is fairly funny, but if you really think about his character, it's weird that the Saints love him so much and have teamed up with him so much, because he essentially works for the mob, enabling all this evil to happen. As a matter of fact, he says one of the worst days of his life was he's an accessory to a hitman killing an entire family. And they take sympathy, so they're going to go kill the hitman. Well, what about Rocco? He helped him. So I take exception to stuff like that. I just think it's a little silly, you know. Some of the dialogue's a little clunky. Some of it's hilarious, though. And again, Willem Dafoe is a gem. He's a national treasure. I love him in everything. And I really like the way it was broken down, especially the first few crime scenes where we flash forward. And it's really funny that, like, Greenlee, I think that's his name, Detective Greenlee, is always wrong. And Agent Smecca makes him get his coffee and bagels and clowns him out. And towards the end of the film, when Billy Connolly shows up with 6 guns strapped to him, Smecca says, and these guys came out to an ambush, there was 6 guys with guns, and there was a firefight. And Greenlee says, well, what if it was one guy with 6 guns? And Smecca says, why don't you leave the thinking to me, genius, right? It turns out Greenlee was right for once. Pretty funny. Clever movie. I have no need to watch 2. I think I've seen it before and forgotten it. But 1's good. It just wasn't great. I kind of felt icky in parts, and it was a little weird at the end. I could have done without the second half of the movie, to be honest. I get the point. The final scene did nothing for me. I actually like Papa Joe as far as the actor and the way he speaks, and I just thought he was clever. This movie definitely has a flair of its own, a style of its own, and you're definitely in the universe of the Boondock Saints when you're watching it. So I'll give it that. It's a good movie. 7 out of 10's a fine score. It's not going to make my Hall of Fame playlist. I like it. I don't have the overwhelming desire to go out and throw on a black turtleneck and a peacoat, but I had fun. At least for the first half hour, 45 minutes, I thought it was very clever. So if you've never seen it, I think you will like it. If you've seen it before, I bet you're going to like it a little less. And Gabriel, let me know what you thought on a rewatch. You got to go watch it again, bud. Because that's kind of like the point of the channel is like, how do these movies change with us over time? These movies we used to love, and then we age and we look back on them and go, what was I thinking? And or, this is better than I remember. And it's happened both ways for me. IMDb, I generally score higher than them. And lately I've been scoring lower. So it's very interesting. My 2 cents. Hope you guys are having a good one. It is 2024, and I know we're probably a month in by the time of posting, but I'm recording this on 1/1. So I'm hoping that you guys have stuck to your resolutions and the year's off to a good start for you. It is for me, and I do appreciate you guys. I will see you next time on Is It Still Good?
I believe the Messenia's finally got the point.
Ha ha ha!